Hello and welcome to Main Mother Matriarch with me, Louise Perry. My guest today is Stone Age Herbalist, the writer, archeologist, author of the Grey Goose Chronicles Substack, and author of the book Berserkers, Cannibals Shamans, Essays in Dissident Anthropology. If you are surprised to hear me interviewing someone in witness protection, it's because Stone Age Herbalist he's an anonymous writer and he uses a voice modifier to make sure that his voice isn't easily recognizable, but you will get used to it, I promise. It was a really, really interesting episode. We spent most of it talking about Venus figurines, so the most famous of which is the Venus of Willendorf, Paleolithic figures of women. We don't exactly know what they were created for. They've been a source of intense fascination over the last 2 centuries, ever since they were rediscovered. We got into all the different theories as to why they were created and why they look the way they do. In the extended part of the episode, we then moved on to talking about witchcraft, witchcraft in particular in contemporary Ghana, and ideas about witchcraft across Subsaharan Africa. You can find that extended version of the episode at my Substack, louiseperry.substack.com, where there are also, as always, bonus episodes, the MMM chat community, where people, men and women, are leaving dating ads, and the full back catalogue of previous episodes. Enjoy. So I want to start by talking about this really great essay that you've got on your Substack about the Venus figurines, the most famous of which I think most people can picture in their minds, is the Venus of Willendorf. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
What you've written about is different historical responses to these figurines, which we still don't really know for sure what they were used for. But the various theories that have been cooked up by anthropologists of different eras really say as much about their own eras as they do about the figurines themselves. Do you want to start maybe by talking about the very early, because these figurines were found or started to be found, right, at a time when there was still plenty of people in archaeology who had a literal understanding of the Bible and therefore found the idea of ancient peoples quite disturbing. Is that right?
Yes. So prehistory, when we look at it from a sort of historiographical lens, sort of looking back on how it developed, you have to go from about the 1820s to 1860s, where it really exploded and caused just a great rupture in the sort of mental landscape of the West. So the Venus figurines were just part and parcel of all of this sort of material culture that was being uncovered and excavated, including, skeletal remains, flint tools, hand axes, strange ivory objects, cave art, and so on. And the Venus figurines were just one of these very strange objects. But archaeology, although the people, certainly the bigger names in it, were really groundbreaking and very intelligent men typically, the actual practice of archaeology was extremely sloppy. And so usually what you do is just hire just some workmen, and they would just bash around in the ground until they found stuff, and things were often sold, stolen on the site, and traded around. So the origin of trying to understand the Venus figurines goes back to France, where most prehistorical archaeology in terms of Paleolithic develops in France. The archaeologists who uncovered them were really quite gobsmacked and quite really tried they really put their thinking caps on and tried to work out what the hell are we dealing with here. We've uncovered these figurine statues, usually made of ivory, sometimes bone, sand, different sandstone, different materials, trying to understand what they were. The thinking at the time was divided between people who wanted to make it fit with, obviously, the biblical narrative, or at least a version of prehistory that made sense within a Christian framework, and then those people who wanted to completely break with that. And the origins of archaeology and geology sort of go together in that you get this concept of really deep time, which I mean, still, if we start to think about the time depths that involved in the Paleolithic, they can be quite staggering to consider. Not just
Mm.
thousands of years, but tens, hundreds of thousands of years. There was definitely a rival set of intellectual camps developing around, what the Paleolithic meant. But it wasn't. It didn't really take too long before the religious dropped away in the face of no, geology is real in terms of the time depth that we're talking about, and then the deep time of human history is real, and then the Venus figurines start to fit into that understanding of trying to break those down into different time sections.
Thank you so much for watching that episode of Maiden, Mother, Matriarch, and for all of your support. It means an enormous amount for the growth of the show. If you want to hear bonus content, an extra 20, 30 minutes of conversation with the guest, maybe a little bit more personal, a little bit less filtered, then you can go to my Substack at louiseperry.substack.com, where you can sign up for extended episodes and also bonus episodes. And you can also access our chat community. You can also support the show by subscribing on YouTube or subscribing wherever you get your podcasts, and rating and reviewing on Apple Podcasts is also really great for encouraging other people to give the show a try. Please also spread the word, tell people that you know who you think might like it to give it a shot. The word of mouth effect is really valuable, so we'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening, watching, and supporting what we're doing.